Hello and welcome to the halfway point of this season. It is, of course, FRL F1 Season 12 for Austria in Spielberg. I am commentating with the reserve commentator, but still a good commentator nonetheless, with my teammate T-Hawk. T-Hawk, how are you doing?
I am not too bad, thank you, Bunty. We are still waiting for tires, I think, because we are just that
Yes.
nice. Just
Yeah.
to put some extra pressure on him, I would say that the drivers can start to ready up now.
Ooh. Not sure. Oh, I should say, we've been, or I say we've been, I've been recruiting some drivers, and we've actually managed to find, I think it is 3 new drivers today in the lobby. We've got David and Cho, who's Spanish, driving in a McLaren, and alongside him, also in the other McLaren, is another Spanish driver, URL Amenda, yeah, and he's Spanish, but he's also new, but he used to drive in FRL, so he's returning. Pace as well. He's the reigning F2 champion, and he's now joining F1 for the halfway point, which is brilliant to see. And I think Arno's not being able to make it tonight, and Cowie, another driver who's in a racing point seat, can't make it either, it seems. Seems as though we're sadly not going to have a full grid, which is a bit disappointing, but
Oh, but still. It's the same number that we had yesterday, I think. Actually,
hope,
no, we had
yeah,
one less because Ivizuk, I
yeah,
think, wasn't there.
true, yeah, that is a point. But yeah, coming into Austria, it is still Jensen who has a massive points gap over his nearest rival. Jensen's got 188 points in the Alfa Romeo. His nearest competitor, who's still racing, is Rocco, but well, he left, but now he's joining back in a Haas, and he's 91 points behind. Name changes on 96, just 1 point behind Rocco. Tyne's on 88, Denzo's on 84 in 6th. Who can't make it today either. Then Petervol in 7th with 79 points. Hiddy on 68 points in 8th. Berra in 9th with 64 points. And Zero rounding off the top 10 is on 55 points. And in terms of the constructors, it's Alfa Romeo with 243 points who lead to Ferrari with 167, with Mercedes in 3rd with 117. I'll just say that, otherwise we'll be here forever. So we'll see if it's raining like it was in a race, and it is raining in quali.
Ooh, fantastic.
Well, that is going to spice up. Hopefully we have a dry race, because it does bring out, I would say, better. I think everyone knows better action.
I've just seen on the tire map that AdSex has currently selected the Inters. Actually, quite a lot of people have selected the Inters. Jensen, Tyne, Rocco, Pace. But it does look very wet outside.
Fitted. Yeah, that's better. Yeah.
I mean, of course, you and me are experts when it comes to what tire to use in what conditions.
Yeah. We won't go into much detail with that. We'll leave the depressing
Yeah.
thoughts for later. For
If you
later,
want to know
probably
the
just leave it.
details, watch yesterday's stream. You see a nice race there.
Yeah. Well, it is. I think is it Jensen who's
It is
first
Jensen.
out as usual.
Yep.
Montana, like always, the first one on track, wanting to get in the laps. He's on the wet. I think I'm just going to change it to best, just make it a bit easier to read. And so I think is maybe going to be. Well, everyone who's actually on it out laps is on the wets at the moment. So I've got a
Except
feeling it might be
for
drying near the end of
Pace.
the quali.
Pace is on the intermediates already.
So Pace is going to risk it. We don't know the pace of Pace, no pun intended, and we don't know the pace too much with David, or I'm only pronouncing it David because he's Spanish, just saying.
Definitely.
And Amenda, we don't know either, but they are F1 pace. We just obviously do not know just how fast. So I imagine David or David, however you want to pronounce it, he'll be maybe. Well, we'll do our predictions later. Well, we haven't done them yet, actually. So I'll go for quali predictions. Jensen first, Hiddy second, Edzak third. That was a bit random. What about you, Hawk?
I'm going to say Jensen third, name changer
Oh,
second. No, Jensen first, name changer second, pace P3.
pace P3. Interesting. Jensen got a bit wide there, coming out of the exit of turn 1. Coming into turn 2, which becomes turn 3 as turn 2 isn't really a corner. Coming off the hairpin. He seems to keep on going on this lap. His ERS is up to medium. Hard to tell in the wet conditions whether it's a good lap. Usually the car's always squirming, but Jensen, ooh, a little bit there. Jensen gonna see his second sector split, get an idea of what it's like in a wet. 50.9. Obviously,
You see something around the 113. Ooh,
yeah. He's gonna come through the last corner, turn 10, and up to the line. See if this, well, it's gonna be fastest lap obviously. It's 113.6, which seems fast. We'll get an idea with others like David. No, he's on an out lap. Isn't it Pace? I think Pace is going to be the second.
1.6 seconds behind in the second sector.
Oh, Zero goes fastest on the pads. Pad is quite good in the rain. You do get better traction. And Hamilton takes it now, so maybe the track's ramping up. Is the Inters faster?
I don't think they are, no.
Nah, but they might phase in later. David as well. David on his debut, he's going to be on that Bullboy, bit lacking. Steggles also moved up to F1 and becoming a commentator, as you may have heard yesterday in F2, as Rocco on the Inters shows maybe the Inters are up to scratch. But yeah, that's why Jack's also in F1, for anyone wondering. So the two commentators in 6th and 7th. As that's, is that, oh, Stephen! Now Mads in 6th, 5th and 6th now. Hiddy in 2nd, so the times are seem to be getting faster. On board with David here. Recruited him in an unranked lobby out of all places, so hopefully his pace is good. 4th gear. It would be 5th gear for the last corner if it was dry. Where's it going to be? It's 8th. Solid on the wets, it seems as though. Outpacing Bullboy and Stegel, which isn't mightily impressive, but it's good enough for P8. Oh, Stephen pushing for another lap. He's 2/10 up, as I think that's Mender? No, that was Pace. So, is any of the top guys on a lap? Rocco is 4/10 up, I think. Coming out of the last corner. Is Rocco going to break into the 1:12s? Yes, he is. Brilliant lap from Rocco. He's changed his esports name to Relentless, and he seemed quite relentless there in quali. Great lap from him. Is that Hiddy P2 or was he there before?
He was there before. But
well, he might go now. P1 maybe, or is that a bit of a stretch? Yeah, it does seem to be. Rocco's not pushing.
Inters are faster now. Amanda's coming to the line.
See what the McLaren can do. Is it going to be faster than the other wet guys like Hiddy? Runs out of ERS coming up to the line, and it's P3.
Oh, Peterborough.
Oh, and the two Ferraris looking pretty competitive here.
Yeah, can't be separated once again. Back to back.
They have been very close the whole way through. I think Tynes had the edge, especially in the drivers. He's 5th and Pedophile's 7th, but these two are always very close, nip for tack. As Tyne is still pushing. Apparently he's gone purple sector 1, but you can't read too much into that as he gets very squirmy going past one of the alphas. Going past his teammate as well. No point in a slipstream here. Using first gear. For turn.
He had to get the rotation and he went a bit deep under brakes, probably with his slipstream from his teammate too.
Yeah.
See a second split.
Oh, and he's had a massive tank slapper, and he's gone into neutral, and he's nearly kept it under control, and he nearly takes out his teammate there.
Gotta get
well kept. I mean, well held, but sadly did spin, but at least he kept it out of the gravel. Is anyone else still on lap? Rocco's now pushing. He's 300ths up. The guy in the halves.
On this lap.
Yeah. I
Same
think
for him.
in F2 he was in a Haas, I dare say. Well, it might have been last season in F1. Obviously, he used to be in a Racing Point, so he's returning to his old colours in FRL. Gonna come through the second sector split. What's it gonna be? Oh, he's 2/10 up on the inters. So these tyres don't seem to be degrading too much either.
I think in this quali session, whoever gets out as the last and crosses the line as the last guy is gonna have the best conditions.
Rocco might be gaining time here. He doesn't use the curb off the last corner. What's it going to be for Rocco? Is it going to be another improvement? Of course it is. Rocco goes 4/10 faster, and it's now into the mid. The mid 1 minute 12s. And his nearest challenger on the Inter's time. He's in the pits at the moment, but he's, as you said, a second off. Bullboy pushing. He's bottom of the pack at the moment. He's going to want to get a little bit higher than that, I imagine. Any surprises for you, T-Hawk?
I'm just checking actually. As Name Changer goes second, we
Ooh, competitive
lap
lap.
on the vets. Good lap. Any surprises? I mean, Matt and O'Steven looked decent in the first couple of laps, but now they're far down. Pace P8 is decent. Jensen,
Which of the
P10.
new guys? Which of the new guys would you say look the most competitive in quali so far?
Amanda. I don't know if I've witnessed him when he was here before.
Yeah, me
he was
neither.
there before me. But he's very decent in P6. Of course, Rocco returning, looking very good in the vet.
Yeah, just looking now.
P13,
I think the track's, as you said, evolving as well. But well, yeah, what were you going to say about the drivers? Sorry.
Yeah, Amanda's looking good. Also, his McLaren teammate David in P14, he wants to improve, surely. But yeah, apart from that, we have the top guys more or less where we would expect them. Except for Jensen, of course.
I think Jensen's recently not had it completely easy. I remember some races he has completely dominated, but I say that and he goes second. Stonking lap from him. I guess that's commentators, I guess, magic. I guess that would be, if it's not cursed.
Hamilton purple in the second sector.
Yes, that's of course. It's JPTM in a Red Bull, as we nickname him, Hamilton. Apparently Edsax has gone purple, but at this point I think it's quite irrelevant. Unless he does go top. He does seem a little bit hesitant on a throttle in this last sector.
Ooh.
Hamilton does go second. See what Edsax can do. The F2 reserve.
Come on, boy.
Only 11th. Bit disappointing. I would have thought Zara would be a bit higher as well, as Amanda's invalidated and Hiddy's on a lap. Hiddy's 6/10 up here. So Hiddy's going to go up the order as well. He's not going to go miles up the order, but it is definitely going to be more competitive than his previous times on the wets, because he's on the inters at the moment.
Might be able to get into the top 3 if he nails that final corner.
He only has to make 2 more tenths in the last sector. Can he do it? Yes, he does. Solid lap, only 3 tenths off pole. But Rocco did that on old tyres, but the new pole's been set. Jensen,
but look at the gap.
Yeah. It is very close at the moment. I think Jensen has got, how many poles has he got this season? He has got 1, 2, 3 poles this season, Jensen, and actually coming into this race, Denzo had 3 in a row in a Renault, but obviously that's going to come to an end now because he's not here. So another driver who's really good in quality is Rocco with 2 poles, and yeah, those are the only 2 drivers who are actually in this session. As obviously Sparkling in Australia got pole, and he's no longer here. And yeah, Denzo, as I said before, he's not here either. But
I just saw something strange. I mean, it might just be a glitch, but I saw Hamilton being up by 3 tenths in the second sector, and he's pitted.
Oh, time!
Time!
That's a surprise and a half. There's so many laps going on at the moment, so I don't think it's going to be possible to keep up with everyone, but I don't think anyone would have expected that. No disrespect to time, but that is impressive, to say the least.
His teammate is also on the lap, up by...
Ooh, Jensen now retakes it. The times are...
It's always on the 10th gap.
Is the other Ferrari gonna? He's making small improvements here, but Pedevol might want to respond to his teammate and get a bit close to him. Can he go above his teammate here, Pedevol? He's gonna come off the last corner, the Czech Republican driver.
Quite close to each other.
And it's only 5th, but when you consider it's only 3/10 off pole, it's not too shabby from Pedevol. As that rhymes, which is very nice. Hiddy's
and Tyne is up by 2/10. And Zabo in P2, I've missed him. By 60,000.
Ooh, Tyne gets a massive slapper on the second to last corner exit. He's still going to finish this lap, obviously. What's he going to be? Definitely, I think, would have done a PB there. Rocco's on a lap time as well. Is Jensen or the Alphas T-Hawk on a lap?
Zabo's on the lap. He's up by 11,000, but the gap is only 16,000. So it's so close between those two. Zabo really surprising me right now with his pace in the lap.
He is on a pad, and he does always seem quite competitive in a rain. Usually. Hope I haven't jinxed that, but he's going to come off the last corner. Is he going to be anywhere near his teammate?
Yes.
Of course it is. Lovely pole from nothing. Brilliant lap time from Zaire as he takes provisional pole here with 4 minutes left.
Oh, Petervol. And Rocco.
Rocco! Rocco takes pole, and Petervol just had it for a split second there. But Rocco just snatches it away relentlessly like his esports team. Anyone else on a lap? Tyne, no. Amanda, no. Hamilton, no. Pace, yes. Pace is on a lap here. See what the F2 champion can do, and as he takes a little bit of a drift there like it's rallying. Very well held by the Brit there. I wonder whether he... Oh, he does get an invalidation. He doesn't seem to have lost any of his prowess at the moment, as name changes now finally come off the wets.
Brookie has spun out of turn 8.
Oh, I forgot about Brookie. But name change is going to finish off his lap. He's going to only be P6, which is a bit disappointing from the esports challenger. I think an Alpha's on a lap. Zero? No, he's starting one though. Well, let's go for an onboard lap around the Red Bull ring. So it's just going to come into... Well, do you want to do it yourself, T-Hawk?
Sure, just kind of the corner names. Zabo, right?
Yeah. I'll just use turn names. I don't think they have names.
Got through turn 1 with Niki Lauda curve. After hairpin, that's Remus. Our second gear, a little bit of understeer, it's difficult to get the car rotated. Third gear, fourth gear, short shifting for retraction, a little bit squirmy. Now coming down to Schlossbowl. Use the curve for braking zone. Again, fight the understeer, and then easy on the throttle. Good job there. Rauch. A little bit of understeer again. Look at the sector split, 3/10 up, that could be pole. Do the vert curve and turn 8. And now down towards the wind and the Red Bull mobile curve. This is there, now hit the apex, just power it down the main straight. It might be pole, I think it's gonna be pole, and it is pole by 3/10.
Zero there, I think if there was any man to go on board with the lap, I think he's still pushing here, so... Oh no, he's turned off his CRS, but... Good choice. Thereby. Fast to go on board with him. Takes pole by 3/10. And it's Jensen who's 8/10 off his teammate, so... Or 6/10, sorry, poor maths by me. It's just the way things swing at the moment in this session, especially in a wet. Name change is going to come through this, but he's 3/10 up. And name change didn't look too competitive before. He went from 6th, and then I think he got to 3rd, and he might hop up 2 more positions to take provisional pole. He should still have time to put this lap in and another as he gets a bit squirmy on exit. Well, I think that's the exit of turn 9, but he's going to come across the line. Is he going to take it off his fellow countryman? No, he doesn't. But he's going to have to keep pushing.
In the second sector. Can Jensen do it?
No, he doesn't, I don't think.
No, he can't.
Pace went P4, we didn't even realise that either.
Oh, right.
And Zero's not going to put in another lap because he's in the pits, so name change is not pushing. Pace is pitted, so Pedevol I think is at the moment the highest guy to start his lap. Apart from Rocco, I think he's going to start soon.
Jensen is pushing again for another lap, I think. Yeah, he's doing 2 in a row. He's up by 35,000. Coming towards turn 4 now.
Using all the curb despite the rainy conditions as Ty's joined, so we're going to have a full grid for the race, so get yourselves strapped in, but you're probably already strapped in because Jensen is here on a stonking lap so far. He's going to need to improve massively, and he is improving massively, 6/10. This is going to put him, it's going to put him around P1, P2.
He has traffic ahead of him. He wants to clear it as fast as possible.
Off the last corner, the Brit, he's going to try and go for his third pole this season. And he gets it by improving by a whole second. But see what Rocco thinks of that. Rocco, he's still on the lap. He's improving by 4/10 as well, so he's going to be up there. See what his also fellow countrymen can do. As Pedevol, oh, he's 3/10 off though, so Jensen's time is really out of the ballpark of the Ferrari.
P6, good lap from him.
What's it going to be from Rocco? Is it going to be pole? Of course it is! Brilliant lap from Rocco by 3,000!
3,000.
Oh, Hamilton's also on a lap, so I wouldn't count your chickens if I were you, Rocco.
No, I think he was already 3 seconds down in the first sector.
Yeah, it does seem a bit slow. Tyne, I wouldn't discount Tyne. He was pole at one stage as well, but probably half the grid was as well. Yeah. He's 7/10 up here, so Tyne might have the last laugh. This is turning out to be an extraordinary qualifying session.
I told you, the last guy that finishes this lap is gonna have the best conditions.
Oh, if he can keep it clean off this last corner. Tyne is gonna round off the last corner. It might just be pole. It is gonna be pole!
13,000.
Brilliant from Tyne. It is Ferrari dominance in a 1-4 with their Ferrari powered cars with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Brilliant lap from Tyne. Take a bow, son.
Fantastic.
Absolutely speechless off of that. That is an incredible lap from Tyne. I think he's Dutch, isn't he?
He is
Pretty
Dutch.
sure. Yes.
Half our league is Dutch at this point.
I don't think, well, Hamilton's, finishing his lap as I think he retires, but Tyne, the man P5 in a championship, seemingly just on it at the moment. He does seem to have that extra gear in qualifying. As Teal, do you want to do the standings or numbers? Yeah.
So we got Tyne ahead of Rocco, ahead of Jensen, all within 16,000 of a second. Just incredibly close here in F1. A bit further back, Peter Wall and Zabo separated by just 4,000. Name changer in P6. I would have expected him to be further up. Same for Hamilton, P7, half a second down. Amanda, P8. Good pace on his return. Same with Pace, P9. Hidi, P10. David in P11.
Oh, quick.
Stagel, P12. Mads, 13th. Bauer, 14th. Bookie, 15th.
Exactly, JB,
16th,
someone.
JB, and someone else, I don't know.
As we will have a full grid with Ty's joining. I think JB joined as well there, so he might have got a disconnection, which is a bit unfortunate for him. But we are gonna...
Are we gonna have a dry race?
It is dry, as I thought. So maybe that was why Tyne got pole, but I think taking nothing away from him. I was actually going to do what I usually do and say, what was your... I mean, I think it's driver of the day for quali. Who would you say yours was, T-Hawk, in that quali session?
Definitely Tyne, because I think that's his first pole and it was just so close between the top three.
If I had to go, I would say Tyne as well, but I think if I had to go for a different driver, I'd probably say I'm going to probably go with Mender, who's P8 on his return after a very long time from F1 in the McLaren. He's up there. To be fair, the three new guys in P8, 9 and 11th, with Pace in 9th and David in 11th, the two Spaniards on their debuts after a long time in the McLarens as well, they're looking strong as well. So
I mean, same for Stagger in P12.
Yeah.
He's looking decent.
I
And
forgot about him, yeah.
that
God.
being said, he's on the controller, remember? Because he has some kind of injury, I think he said.
Yeah, he did. So that's quite respectable as well. He seems to have got used to it quite early on. As we will do our quali predictions with looking at the tyres. It is an easy one-stop medium soft or soft medium if there are no safety cars. So I think I'll let you go first, T-Hawk, as you are
Let's see, let me take a look at the
co-commentator.
tires. Well, that's interesting. With Alfa Romeo and Ferrari splitting the strategy. That's a good teamwork, so... let's see, Tyne was very good at battling last week against me and his teammates, so maybe... I'm just gonna say Tyne will be able to fend off the attackers behind and is gonna win. Rocco will be P2 and they will be third.
Interesting. I think I'm gonna go for Jensen, because I think he's put on a dry setup here, because I think it'd be unlike Jensen, without saying being too cocky towards him. I think he does have the step up, the extra gear above the field, so I think he's got a dry setup on, so I'd expect him to take the win. I think his teammate as well, on the mediums, he could be a contender, so I think he'll get second, and I'll spice it up for third. I think Davidencho, I think he, on the sauce, will get that P3 spot, maybe with a bit of safety car luck, but we are gearing up towards a very exciting start. As you said, 16 thousandths separate the top three. It is definitely going to be a cracker for sure in F1. Make sure you've got your popcorn now, otherwise you probably have about 10 seconds, but as green flags,
Good.
as there's a bit of a glitch, but
yeah, there we go, that's better.
Yeah, as it's one light, two lights, three lights, and it's 5 red lights, and it's lights out and away we go. Tyne gets a good start, Jensen behind, Jensen's alongside. And Tyne is going to keep the lead here. Rocco in second. Jensen in third. Pedevol looking solid in fourth. There's a massive fight for P8 here. Amenda and Name Changer are going side by side. 3 wide almost.
I think that's P6, I think.
And there's a racing point which overshoots. I think that's pace. But he doesn't get any damage, which is good. There's Hiddy behind it. Hiddy's going to try and get past pace. He's going to ghost throw him. As near the front, there's Amenda trying to go past Name Changer. He's going to try and stick it up the inside. He's going to keep it. As David's made up some positions in P8. As Amenda's going to go past Name Changer. No, he isn't. Name Changer with the esports experience does defend that position well.
Good fight though.
There's Bullboy trying to get past Mads. That's the only side by side I can see is pace. Hiddy, what's happened to Hiddy? Hiddy's must have maybe had his wing chopped off or something.
And
his teammates behind him. Yeah, Ty's have it. As there's Tyne. Tyne has lost the lead to Rocco.
We misled completely.
No. Tyne is still in the lead. No, Tyne is still in the lead. It is.
Good.
Yeah, he's half a second ahead with the minus, as you can see. That was a bit worrying now, as it gets
Name Changer already
fixed.
with a penalty. Adsex with a penalty for speeding in the pit lane.
I guess. Who's that? The 2 Renaults have pitted, so it's not a good day for Cyril, but he's obviously not here anymore, so I've forgotten the other guy's name, but no, she's there as Amenda. Amenda's still trying to get past Name Changer, and he dives it down the inside. Name Changer's going to try and get the better exit, going round the outside of turn 5, that is, but Amenda gets the position, and Name Changer's got a penalty as well. Anyone sticking out to you, York, with a good start?
Hamilton, I saw right off the bat. I think from P7 to P4, even before the first corner.
Oh, that's JB. I think, is that JB? Oh no, it's Mads. Oh, it's the two. Oh, Stevens spun round as well. So Williams and Renault are having a really poor day. As I don't think, was that JB? JB's got a full wing intact, so I don't think. I think it was Mads who spun, or Steven, which caused the other to spin. So it's Not great for Williams at the moment. Frank will be
Unfortunately.
pounding his hand on his wheelchair. He won't be very happy with that. As Jensen's
Yes,
getting close.
activated.
A lot of penalties already as well, that's something to be said.
Mm.
It is a dry race though, and penalties are quite common in Austria. It's very easy to cut. But it just seems to be calming down, doesn't it, at the moment?
So let's look at the position changes, maybe.
Ooh.
Hamilton with a good start. Savo losing 4 positions in the leadings. He did not get off the line very well and already used a lot of his overtake. About 30%. Other significant changes. Tyres with an absolute banger of a start.
Hamilton,
So
he's getting the most, like, in the with the highest positions, in the highest position, if that makes sense. He's the top of the positions gainer. As Rocco's going to try and go down the inside of the hairpin. No, he thinks better of it. He's going to wait for the, well, it's half hairpin of turn 4. He's 2/10 behind Rocco. And he's going to try and go down the inside. I don't think Time's going to fight this too hard, as Rocco takes the lead.
But
Very solid from Rocco. Jensen's lurking in the background as well, so Jensen might have a bit of a taste of this as well. As Hamilton's there as well, as Amenda's dropped off. So it seems to be a top 4 battle, as Hamilton's impressing as well. Seeming as though he's got the pace today. He's got a drive through with... So it's Alfa Romeo, Alpha Tauri. So all Williams, Alpha Tauri and Renault seem to be capitulating at the moment.
Oh, and did he spin again?
Oh, it's not looking good at the moment for some teams.
And Tyson is driving very slow.
There's a lot of penalties as well. Yeah, Ty's seems as though he's had an incident.
Did Ty just try to take out Hilly in turn 6? I think he just touched the...
Yeah, Ty's might be losing his head here as we go on board with him.
Yeah, yes. That's not on Ty's. Like,
Ty's has pushed him off and Ty's has lost his head.
That is not on. Not at all.
We've seen this before, and I think that might be him leaving the league, to be honest. We saw it with Sparkling, and he had to leave. He's been known for his dirty driving, and here's a virtual safety car. Jensen
did something stupid too, but
yeah, it's not on. As we saw with Sparkling, Sparkling did it. It's just not acceptable in the league. As Hamilton's also... Oh no, he hasn't got past Jensen. Bataille is retired, and Alpha Tauri are going to have a... Oh, they're going to be suffering the standings, to say the least. There will be no chat, as I don't think the top 4 guys are going to pit. They need to respect the pit lane entry as well. That's something to be said. Hopefully they remember. As Rocco, he's actually P3 in the standings in the championship. He's still leading, but yeah, shame with the Tyres incident. He's definitely gonna have a lot of inquiries about that. You could blatantly see it on stream, but Hamilton and Tyne is going to be side by side, 2 in a row. Tyne is going to take back the lead for Ferrari as Jensen. It's almost like a car park here, 2 by 2. Jensen's in 4th, but he's going to get onto that podium position, but he doesn't want to use any of his ERS. Neither does Hamilton. Hamilton keeps the position for P3 as he brakes quite late there. So does Jensen, getting very close, but these top 4, yeah, giving us great battles here.
Amanda now 1 second closer, so this battle up front might turn into a 5-way battle.
He does have a penalty though, as Brookie also gets one. But it does have to be said, these guys are, I wouldn't say the cleanest of the bunch. Rocco and Tyne are quite aggressive at times, so it's nice to see them having some good racing, to be completely honest. Hamilton and Jensen have been sometimes victims of dirty driving, but they're sticking nicely behind, so we could have quite a ferocious battle here as Brookie retires in the pits.
See, I mean, yeah, Rocco and Tyne, they are quite ruthless, or in Rocco's case, probably can actually say he's quite relentless. But that's what makes them such good drivers in F1, because they are willing to go wheel to wheel with a little free banging, and Jensen almost overshot it into the back of Hamilton there.
You just look at the... I was just going to say, you look at the ERS situation, and all of them are in the 80s at the moment, almost. I think I was going to compliment Rocco on his ERS saving, because he used to, in F2, be really wasteful with it, but he does have seemed to have a little bit more of a way to save it up a lot better than he used to.
And if you look at those four and then compare to Amanda, who I think he's trying to catch up to
Oh
the
yeah, he's struggling.
so he can save it again.
I just spotted. I just spotted. Oh, Tyne gets a penalty, but I just spotted. I was going to say Stegel and Chisero, the two mates. They haven't raced against each other in a long while. They're nowhere. They're not too close to each other, but that's a battle to look out for because they're good mates and they used to race a while ago. So it's great to see them back on the track again. As Jensen, I thought he was going to go for a move there. He puts it up to overtake, but he's going to wait.
Rocco's going to drive it. Not quite.
He doesn't need to rush this though, but he does have full ERS, but he doesn't because Tyne has a penalty, so he can just stick behind, but he doesn't want to get caught out by people like Hamilton, and Hamilton's starting to use his ERS here. He's got 80% now, he gains loads in the braking zone.
I think the pit window for the South, is it around like 14, 15, something like that?
Yeah, I think that is the optimal time to pit at the moment. As there's Zero catching up to pace as well as name changes getting close to Peterville. Those are some other battles, but we are going to quite obviously zoom in on the battle for the lead. Jensen looking quite maybe... I think he's quite patient, but he might just be getting a bit furious here, I would say, because he is in fourth and he's in a big DRS train. It's not just 3 people, it is 4.
Yeah. It's going to be impossible for him to overtake as Rocco. He just moves past Tyne. Hamilton might also move past him. He's going to dive it on the inside. That's very left heavy.
Oh, that's a mistake by me. I was too busy looking at Discord, if I'm honest. As Tyes was just saying, he's left the league halfway through the race, but Hamilton getting very close, and now Rocco's got the lead. I think into the hairpin, if that's correct. Hopefully. But it's still, so there's no positions gained apart from Tyne and Rocco at the moment in terms of the top 4. Hamilton, he's also probably getting a bit impatient. He's just probably waiting for the opportunity. The Red Bull man going around the Red Bull ring. As yeah, that's yeah.
We're moving closer to the pit window now, so I know, is the undercut powerful around here? Because there aren't that many corners, so there's probably not that much time you can make up.
Yeah. Yeah. Tyes and Hiddy apparently have left the league, which isn't great, but with that sort of driving, I think, I'm not sure whether it was on Hiddy or not, but no surprise really to see that when that's happening. But still focusing on a battle out front. Hamilton's starting to drain his ERS here, but he's still comfortably just sitting in 3rd. It hasn't kicked off yet as name changer. It has kicked off behind for 6th. He gets past Peterville with a good move. And now he's in the DRS of Amanda, but he does have a penalty like Amanda. So that would mean Peterville's in 5th. As David on his debut as well, our commentator cursed that badly. I was rooting for him as well, so that's a bit of a shame. But Jensen getting close as well, but you can't overtake in this last sector. Did Tyne cut that pit entry?
I think he did actually.
Because he did pull into the pits last minute. But Jensen is now going to try and get past Hamilton. He's going to wait for turn 3. The hairpin of turn 3. He's going to get a good exit here. And now Jensen's going to put it up into overtake and go and hunt down Rocco. Hamilton, though, he's going to have the DRS and ERS to attack him for the next hairpin of turn 4. Is he going to go for an overtake? I think it'd be a bit wasteful. He does seem to be attacking Jensen. I'm not sure whether Jensen will be too happy with this, but yeah. Hamilton doesn't send it quite appropriately. As I think that's Amanda, who's lost 2 positions now in the space of a lap. I think we missed that there. Getting very close to Peterville.
And Tyne actually on the hard, so that's a...
Oh, name changer gets a penalty. Yeah. Just saw that there. As Hamilton, he's just about in ERS, and sorry, I should say DRS range of Jensen. As Jensen's also about to get DRS on Rocco, so he's hunted him down by quite a bit now, but Rocco has got more ERS. But Jensen's using all of that, as you can see, so he's, I think, the favourite to get inside the DRS of Rocco. But the pit stops are approaching, so Rocco or Jensen don't need to panic too much. As pace is overtaken by Zero as well. As it's a McLaren 6-7.
Getting faster now.
Yeah, it's a McLaren 6-7 at the moment, so they're running strongly, just like in real life. The two Spaniards doing quite well. But they do both have penalties though, so that's something to factor in.
Hamilton just dropping off now. I think he might be pitting soon.
Yeah. Is Jensen or Rocco going to pit? Well, I don't think they can, unless they want to cut the pit entry, so they just go past, like normal. So this is P1 and P3 in a Drivers' Championship at the moment, these two. These two drivers between them, Rocco and Jensen, have a whopping, I think that's 285 points between them. And we're only halfway through the season, so both of these drivers racking up the points, so that I think you can class them as championship rivals. Even though Jensen has a 91 point gap over Rocco. Rocco will want to respond well and get, I think it's his 4th race win it would be. Yeah, 4th. With Jensen also already having 4. Jensen hunting for his 5th. Any other battles to you that stand out to you?
Not right now. I mean, Zavo is getting close to David right now. So that might be something. But a few midfield scraps.
I don't think they're pitting again, so this, I think they're going for the soft, hard strategy. Sorry, medium strategy, I should say. Oh, was David's got a penalty. And what's happened there? Oh, he's pitting, thank God. But hopefully he doesn't speed.
Don't get a 10-second penalty too because of the pit entry.
Oh, I hope he might have not known about that, but he was getting overtaken anyway, but that might have just been because of the pits. But Tyne, I was going to say, Tyne is on the hards. He is reaching a bit of traffic here with JB, but I don't think that should be too much of a big issue for him. He knows how to overtake, even if it comes to the last laps, so he should have no issue overtaking JB as he goes out wide, and that's just pure F1 speed there. Is JB going to fight this? Nah, he's just going to let him by. T, what do you think? Tyne's done the undercut on the top two, because the gap is
just looking, I mean,
18
he's
seconds.
gaining as Rocco is getting into the pits now, so he read the rule perfectly.
You can see that Tyne, the gap is slowly coming down, but I've only just started looking at it, as it comes down quite a bit.
Should be in the lead after those guys up front pit.
As Tyne is being let through by Stegel, so no fighting there. Is Stegel going to pit? No. As Rocco, see where he comes out. He's going to just pick off the pit limiter here, and Tyne seems to be past him. Or does he? Rocco, he's going to exit the pit post. He's on the medium, the fresher medium. And I think Rocco's done well there with the overcut.
I think Tyne is on the wrong strategy here with the hards. I think he had the pace to stay out longer. Probably also had the tires. Tried to be smart, but
yeah, it hasn't paid off for him, definitely. He might have the tyre life near the end, though. Possibly on those hards, he might have better tyre wear, but the mediums are going to be way quicker. As Jensen is, he's going to pit. Hamilton is not going to pit. Neither is name change, neither is Pedervar, neither is Zero. Oh, they're on the mediums, of course. Rocco getting very close. I think Rocco's going to need to overtake Tyne here on the next DRS straight, because he is slightly getting held up, I would say. Which is no surprise, really, as Tyne's on the hards, but...
Jensen's exiting the pits now.
Yep, and he does seem to be behind. But he has got one lap fresher tyres than Rocco, which could come in really handy towards the end. Rocco's going to be using his ERS. He's going to try and go around the outside of turn 3,
Tyne
but he's
really
not going to
hugging
send
that
it.
inside line. But now he's gonna get it
How
surely.
hard is Tyne going to fight this, I think, is the question. He does seem to be fighting it hard. Rocco's low on ERS slightly. Tyne's going to go for the inside. Hopefully they don't touch. Bit of banging wheels, but it's a clean overtake-ish by Rocco. But you do need to get your elbows out in F1. That is a known fact for sure. His name change has overtaken Hamilton, so I
And
think...
he's gonna get a 10-second penalty.
Yeah, I think drivers have forgot the pit entry rules, which is a bit
It's in the
unfortunate.
rules since the beginning, so it's
Yeah,
a shame to see that.
but it is now Rocco with the provisional race lead. And imagine if there was a safety car now as Hadley David gets another penalty. But if there's a safety car now, that would play perfectly into the hands of the two Finns, as well as the Czech Republican and the Ferrari driver Petervol. As Tyne is getting overtaken by Jensen, but Tyne is going to stick his nose in. And he's lucky he didn't spin harder like Vettel on lap 1 last season, as he's just going to have to settle in behind there. But Jensen's still got DRS on Rocco at the moment, so Jensen does need to panic just yet. He can keep it calm. And he does seem to have the upper hand in terms of tyres on Rocco as well, so I think it's still advantage Jensen.
Yep. I mean, those two realistically are the only ones that are still in the race after Tyne and Hamilton cutting the pit entrance, fortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, I mean, anything can still happen. Maybe those two can pull out a 10-second lead, who knows.
Yeah, as Jensen sets fastest lap, so that's just confirming the fact that he has the pace. He does have more ERS than Rocco, and I think you will see Rocco's red light flashing because he's under 20%, so he's going to be losing that straight line speed down the straights, which will make it all the easier for Jensen. It is of course now the halfway point of the race, so that means they've done 75 kilometers so far, with 75 to go. So they'll just be hoping these two, and 3 with Tyne still in the picture, to definitely not have a safety car, because that would ruin it. Even though they're not too far off name changer, only about 12 seconds off, but I think name change would still have a lot fresher tyres, which would be frustrating for them.
I mean, I wouldn't mind a safety car now to bunch it up, maybe give the guys on the mediums a little bit of an advantage.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking now, they can't go on the mediums because they're already on the mediums. Going on the hards would be pretty pointless. And the softs wouldn't go to the end, so it's actually not the end of the world if safety car comes out now. As Rocco is 5/10 ahead of Jensen. Both are low on ERS, but Jensen's really closing up with that straight line speed, I think, from maybe a dry setup. But Rocco's enjoying it out front. He's led a lot of laps so far.
Oh, Stagger and Mads battling.
Ooh.
Just
as Pace is getting close to David, David's just going to about leave the space on the outside. It looks like good battling between these two. David's low on ERS. There's a lot of penalties, so I think you can ignore the penalty situation. To be quite honest, as David is just going to have the space on the inside there. It looks by the camera angle like he'd get spun out. He's going to try and fight it around the outside of turn 6. This is ambitious. He's going to keep it. No, he isn't. He's going to back out for turn 7, but brilliant racing between these two. The F2 champion treating us to some good battles there for sure.
So what's happening? Amanda is close to Hamilton.
Yeah, Hamilton dropped off. Man, who else has dropped off is Tyne. He's hardly within DRS here. And I think that's just confirming he has picked the wrong strategy for sure, which is disappointing for the pole sitter at the moment. He is back in DRS though, so I think that was speaking a bit too soon. He just really does need to cling on to these guys, and in the last 2 or 3 laps as David is fighting Pace as he goes off, he should phase back into it, but David's here, really fighting it hard. Is he going to go inside? I can hardly see with the camera angle, still can't see. They're going side by side again through turn 6. Who's going to come out first this time? I think it's the Spaniard. And it is the Spaniard as Zero gets penalty. Zero's been a bit lackluster for my liking, I think. I would have liked to see him a bit higher, but just seems to be off it at the moment. Jensen sets fastest lap, but is there a question maybe of team tactics? Oh!
Sure.
Well, that changes everything, for sure. Jensen gets a penalty. Who was expecting that? So now Rocco...
Be battling on track. Have you noticed that it became a bit cloudy?
It might be the complete opposite to F2, with raining in a race and drying up near the end. It might be raining at the end here. As Prix gets past David as well. These two are having a brilliant squabble. This is brilliant racing from these two. I think David is going to have DRS again. These two are going to go side by side through turn 4. David's going to go outside this time, not inside. He's going to have a bit of a better exit. He's going to be right tucked under the gearbox of the Racing Point, but he's not going to go for it. Very clean racing between these two, showing it's how it's done, but advantage Rocco T-Hawk?
I'd say so, yeah, but still, we have almost half a race distance to go, so who knows. And maybe Jensen will just pull away a gap again.
He's going to have to push hard, that's for sure. And he looks like he's used a lot of his DRS, so I think Rocco, unless he gets a penalty with these 3 DRS zones, he can really chill out. He's got more ERS now. So Jensen is just going to have to plan an attack of how he wants to get away from Rocco. As Tyne has dropped out of DRS for sure now, as Amenda is just behind Hamilton. No, Stephen gets a penalty, which is a bit odd. Amenda's going to try and go around the outside as again I get a shocking camera angle. As there's name changer in the background as well. These two going side by side through turn 6. Name changers path is blocked. He's going to go the inside. Amenda leaves the space, which is great. He's going to try and stick around the outside of turn 7. Just about keeps it on track. Nearly lost it there, but the racing, when it has been clean, has been very good for sure. This is brilliant from these 3. Name changer on a much better strategy, but yeah, name changer's going to definitely get past Hamilton, but Hamilton's got better at ERS.
Name changer turned off his DRS because he wants to get him towards the hairpin.
Esports tactics there at its finest. Yeah, easy overtake from the man in the Mercedes. As Rocco, I think no, we haven't missed that. Rocco was behind already. He stays behind us. Mads, is that Mads Pitts, I think it is?
Yeah, that's him.
Stegel gets another penalty as Prix. Is this again? They're going to go side by side through turn 4. This is brilliant as Zero's there as well. So this is going to be a 3-way scrap. Zero's going to try and go around the outside of turn 4. This is. Oh, he's going to leave him the space just about Pace. That was really good racing. David's he's got nowhere to go. He's going to have to sit in behind. As Zero gets past, once again, the racing in F1 has been outstanding when it's been clean. Just a shame those AlphaTauris did have to mess it up, but
yeah.
Honestly, the racing has been top class. I think you could say this is definitely going to be up there for race of the season for sure, especially with qualifying. We just need a battle near the end, so if Rocco could get a penalty, that would be good.
I mean, this is a track that encourages those kind of battles, as Jensen went a bit wide onto the curb.
Jensen's going to get overtaken here, and he knows it. He lets him through. Relentless Rocco. Not Rocco Reggae for real. It is Relentless Rocco takes the lead with his new username change. Seems to be a new man as well. Ballboy Pits. As Amenda, sorry I should say. Once again, a McLaren's going to try and go side by side through turn 6. He's going to go for the outside of turn 7. But he's going to get the better exit here. Or is he? No, he isn't. But Pedervol's caught up as well. So this is still a 3-way scrap. And Zero is going to be latching onto these guys in no time as well. As Pelly's AI's in the way, which is a bit frustrating for these 3. Gaps starting to spread out between 5th and 3rd. But for 6th down to 8th, or well, 6th down to 7th, 5th down to 7th, 3rd time lucky there. It does seem to be very close as Pedervol. Is he going to go for it? think he is. Outside of turn 3, inside
Double
of turn
move.
2, whatever you want to call it. He's going to go for a double overtake in 2 corners.
Oh,
Or 1
beautiful.
corner if you want to call it. Brilliant from the Ferrari. He's not going to have DRS though. So if that Red Bull's going to gain on him, where's he going to go, inside or outside? It's going to be outside for Hamilton.
Can he fight him off? He should be able to.
But he's going to have the better exit.
Something.
Oh, he's going to have the momentum as well. He's going to go down the inside. Hopefully they don't catch and he does spin. That's a big shame. Yeah, an ambitious overtake for sure. Hamilton, where's he going to rejoin? He's going to be ahead of his teammate, but behind David, as he's got to be careful with the ghosting. I hope he's not lost his head here. They're going to go side by side. Ooh, he's going to have the inside, and David's going to leave in space. David seems to have P10 under control here because he's got a really big gap behind with Stegel with a lot of penalties. We should probably focus on the battle for the leaders. It's only 4 tenths now, as there was 3 tenths before. God, I need a breath here. T or do you want to commentate for a lap or so?
Sure. I mean, not that much happening. I mean, of course, we're quite close to each other, but not really embedded. But that being said, name changer on time, down the inside. Okay, and that's that done. Let's see what else we have. We have Hamilton on pace. And Hamilton has the pace to get past pace. Good job from him. But yeah, a lot of good battles, especially with Peter Wall. Back then with his double overtake, I mean, that was some skill driving there. Driving zigzag between 2 cars, that's the kind of shit that you want to do on the motorway sometimes, but you never do it.
Hamilton just got a penalty there. I thought it was Pedivol. I thought we commentators cursed it again, but you can tell.
Next step though.
It's good to have 13 viewers. I can tell why. The racing's pretty good if that's what you're watching for. But yeah, it does seem to have calmed down slightly. But saying that, the gaps are close. Tyne I think was overtaken by Name Changer. Name Changer actually here, as I think Macho said, he has got 6 seconds worth of penalties. So if he didn't have that, I think he'd be the favourite for the win. As he's gaining rapidly on Jensen, as the penalty situation looks like, if we can get it up, there it is. So he needs to pull out a 3-second gap over Jensen and a 6-second gap over Rocco in the space of 10 laps, if you include this one. So, yeah.
I think Name Changer's the kind of guy who thinks, it ain't over until it's over, so if there's still some way that he can fight for the win, he's going to do it, so he's definitely going to keep pushing.
He's low on ERS and he does downplay himself quite a bit, but he definitely has the potential. Was that Rocco? I think getting a bit out of shape as Jensen.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
There's going to be a move into the
Stegel's getting close to disqualification here. He's getting a lot of penalties. I'm not sure whether Jensen's accepted this though. Jensen might have accepted getting P2 here because he's just sitting behind, but maybe he knows it's way too easy to, or too difficult I should say, to break out of DRS and pull out a 3-second gap. I think Jensen's just playing this clever.
Jensen is someone, I think he's probably one of the smartest drivers that we have in F1 or in FRL in general. I think he's ready for Name Changer to become close, whilst at the same time wearing out Rocco's ERS. And then, once Name Changer is close enough, he's just gonna get past, let them to battle, and hopefully, for him, pull those 3 seconds.
Yeah, another Finn. Another Finn that's on the charge as well is Zero hunting down Amenda. He might even get him down into turn 1 here. You don't usually see this as an overtaking zone. They're going to go side by side, but Amenda backs out there. It doesn't seem to be as cloudy as it was before, so I think it's fine now. But Zero, he's got Pettervol ahead of him, and Pettervol's got no penalties. So Pettervol here could maybe even get P2, and even if Rocco gets a penalty, Pettervol might be in a fight for the win here. I've said Pettervol about 3 times in the last 30 seconds, but it does seem to be his day, as I'll try and say Ferrari rather than his name. But Name Changer, look at him, he's on a flyer here.
I was just watching Zero and Amanda and them two.
sorry to butt in, but Hamilton and Pace got close to touching it. I think Hamilton's a bit frustrated with the spin. I really hope he makes up the positions he lost because, yeah, unfortunate with Amenda, wasn't it? So he's only lost one position actually, so it's not the end of the world, but it's a bit bland for the guys behind Stegel. He's in no man's land, so's Mads, so's Bullboy, and JB's looking for P13, but he has got a penalty to his name. But that's as it stands. As name changer, he is in a DRS train here, or is now a DRS train as he picks up DRS, and he's got no ERS either, so he's going to have to make a really sneaky overtake here if he wants to get past these guys.
Told you about Jensen wanting to deplete Rocco's engine supplies, or energy supplies. He's at 16, Jensen is at 60.
Mm-hmm.
That's some clever driving right there. Tell you what, he's gonna get past him 2 laps maximum.
I think it'll be a lot longer than that because of the nature of this track. It's quite difficult to overtake if you're in a DRS train, but Ferrari fans will be happy here because it's a 4-5 for Ferrari, but surely if you're Pedivol, you're screaming at the TV telling Tyne to get out of the way because
I think
Tyne,
yeah,
surely because Pedivol, if he hunts down Name Changer, which is going to be now looking a bit difficult, as Rocco is going to get overtaken by Jensen. Now Name Changer is going to try and go for the better exit for turn 4. It looks like it's going to kick off here. Name Changer gets the better exit, but he's got no ERS here to defend with. Neither has Rocco though. He's going to have to make this overtake if he wants to win. Down the inside. Oh, and Rocco's going to get the better exit, and Name Changer a bit impatient there.
Mad spun, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot of drivers behind who it's distracting me to say the least, but poor Name Changer, he's now going to have to wait another lap, and it looks
that's what
difficult.
I talked about. 7 tenths already for Jensen.
As Hamilton and Pace once again going side by side. These guys have had great battles. Hopefully they don't spin each other out.
So close always.
I have to say, these guys, I've never seen this racing. They have been battling all day. David, he's going to get involved as well. He's battling at the start. Oh, I can't say how much I'm enjoying these battles with 17 drivers in this race, but honestly, the top 10 definitely have had brilliant battles. I'm sure outside the top 10 it's been good as well, but
Jensen was almost out of ERS and now he just lost it.
Is that Mercedes tactics, did someone say? Bullboy trying to give DRS to... Well, it wouldn't make sense. His Name Changer goes for a last gasp overtake on Rocco. Rocco's not really got the ERS. I think he's going to back out of this. Name Changer gets past, and Name Changer's in P2. And he gets a bit slidey there, but there's so many ghost cars in the way. I can't actually tell who's where, but it's his Name Changer who's now going to have to get past Jensen sooner rather than later. He's going to have to pull out a gap very fast, so... Name Changer, it's going to be pedal to the metal at the moment for these last 4 laps, make it, including this one. As I'm just looking if there's any other battles. I think Pace is fighting with Hamilton and soon to be David. There's Mads! Mads gets fastest lap. Oh my. Anyone surprising you? T-Hawk for the worse or better?
Let's see.
Oh, Name Changer might surprise us here. He is! He's gonna go down the inside and they touch!
Oh.
They touch! Jensen, I think, just didn't feel he was side by side. These guys are probably in a party as well, so... Oh, it's gonna be awkward, definitely. Name Changer, I think, is just gonna be really frustrated. He just can't get past. He's on the better tyres. But are they the better tyres now? Because they're probably going to start to degrade now. What do you think, T-Hawk?
Let's see, they're 11 laps old against 16 lap old mediums. I think they're pretty equal at this point. I think they're pretty equal until the end.
I was going to say shout out to Pelly for finishing a race, but his AI is doing the job. Oh, Steven is going to... Oh no, that's Matsu pits. But Williams are going to be a bit disappointed here as Steven gets a penalty. his race goes from bad to worse. I think he needs a safety car to maybe have any chance and a bit of carnage if he wants to score points. But Edzak as well, the F2 guys in 14th, 15th and 13th, 14th and 15th. I feel for Steckel because he's got a 27-second gap behind, and he's got... Oh, well, saying that, David is now going to exit the pits. I think he's going for fastest lap, and now Steckel gets a bit of action. So that's great for him.
Can you hold off David on the faster soft tire as well?
Yeah.
Also, another thing that I just noticed, Peter Wall and name changes pin. Very interesting to watch.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a lot of factors coming into this race as David gets past Steckel there. Name changer with the ERS. Oh, I say with the ERS. Look at Jensen. He's run out already down the straight, which is a bit worrying. You're not going to lose tons of time, but the championship leader winning like usual. He seems to be a bit easier this time, but getting into the position in the first place for Jensen wasn't the easiest. He was in a DRS train before, and then he had to make his way through, making a nice overcut with the fresher tyres. Rocco was just being... Well, he's got no penalties, so Rocco is still there for the win. I think he is favourite, I should say, for the win. All he has to do is not lose about 1.5 seconds to Jensen. He's going to be out of DRS here, I think, for the turn 1. Or is he? He is?
Yeah,
so,
he is.
Is he? No, he isn't. Or is he? No, he is. He isn't. If you know what I mean, he doesn't get DRS, that's what I'm trying to say. But he does for this one.
He put another 1.4 seconds to him on
It's
this
the last
lap.
lap. It's going to be scenario 7 for Jensen here. He's going to have to send it, to say the least. He has had 4 race wins, I think it is. And Rocco's actually going to be equaling this, so these two are going to have 4 apiece coming into Britain. Both of their home race, so there's going to be a bit of a rivalry here as Mad sets fast lap. Fair play to him in the Williams.
David now.
David is now going to take it as well. The two, well, the old teams taking fastest lap. But Rocco is led for most of the race. He's kept it clean. He's had no penalties. He's picked the right battles. He's definitely had a good day at the office today. I think it's been second in qualifying, but Rocco's going to round off the last corner. He's going to come round the last corner and he's going to win on penalties. The Austrian Grand Prix, the halfway point. He makes his return in the Haas. And it's a good luck charm, isn't it?
Oh, and Tyne lost it on the final corner.
He's going to lose 5th to 0, but look at that for the Ferrari. They're going to take 3rd as well, so brilliant race for Ferrari. Well, I say that 3rd and 6th I think is quite solid, but great from Pedevol. I think he didn't get a penalty either. 0 making a recovery drive to 5th. He didn't really look like he was there. He had to fight his way as the AI crash. David, I think he'll take fastest lap. Steckel on his return to F1, he's got a lot of penalties to his name, but he's done well to keep it clean as he crashes across the line. What a race. Race of the season for me.
Definitely. I'm just gonna put something out in the F1 chat, so I'm gonna be quiet for 2 minutes.
Yeah. As driver of the day, I think that might have been a Red Bull of Hamilton? Or no, Jack Steckel maybe, I'm not sure. But Rocco will take the trophy for the halfway point in the Haas. His old good luck team. It comes true. Great win from the Brit, from Rocco. Led a lot of laps and just picked the right battles. Knew when not to fight and when to fight. He just sat behind Jensen for a lot of the time. But great race. And it's Rocco in a new esports team who wins. Starting in 2nd, making up 1 position, he wins. Jensen in 2nd, he'll be disappointed. Pedevol sneaking into 3rd with the penalties. Name changer in a maybe disappointing 4th for him, but he still makes up positions from quali. 0 in 5th in the Alfa Romeo as well. Tyne crashed across the line, he's 6th, so he lost a couple of positions as well with a soft hard strategy. Mender on his debut returning, he gets 7th. Hamilton in 8th. Pace also on his debut returning in 9th. David on his debut full time gets fastest lap, which is going to be 2 points for McLaren. Stegel returning to F1 in 11th. 12th JB. 13th Ed Sachs. 14th Bullboy. 15th Mads. O Stevens 16th. Pelly 17th. Little Brookie 18th. Tyes 19th. And Hiddy 20th. And we won't be seeing the two AlphaTauris anytime soon. As those are the standings. As I will, and hopefully T-Hawk can hear me, I'll be moving to the post-race interviews. So, post-race interviews. Hopefully you can hear us, as we will interview the drivers and hopefully they'll join the party, so they're just going to come through. I think the party's still going. Okay. Those are the drivers. T-Hawk, are you there? Just to make sure. Oh, he's... okay. As the drivers are just joining. As Rocco's joined. Rocco, are you there? Well, we'll start with you, obviously, the race winner. You started second in quali, but it wasn't an easy job in quali. It was moving up and down your position like everyone else. Did you think at one point you had pole in the bag in that quali session? Yeah, quali, obviously, maybe for your sake, was a bit disappointing, but obviously with the track changing, it was an advantage of time, but you had a decent start. You were just sitting nicely in that DRS train with the top 4. Did you always know you were going to go for the soft-medium strategy, or did you ever contemplate going for a soft-hard strategy at all and following Tyne into the pits early on? Yeah. Well, the race obviously over time grew to you with all the penalties being racked up by other drivers. As the crowd's very loud there. But yeah, you obviously kept it clean the whole way through. Were you at all nervous, or were you just picking and choosing your battles? Because obviously you were getting very close to Jensen and even Hamilton, and of course Tyne in the early stages. Were you just maybe picking, choosing your battles and staying in that DRS train, or pushing at times? Yeah, definitely. I think another question about the race was, were you at all scared near the end of the lane changer? Because obviously he was making a last-ditch charge on the softs as well. Did you ever at one point think maybe he was going to kind of challenge you? Or did the penalties maybe make you feel a little bit more safe from the threat. Yeah. Well, it's your 4th race win, or yeah, 4 wins now in F2, which is quite a lot now, the same as Jensen. And sorry, F1, sorry. But you are quite far behind in the drivers' championship, but you do get a lot of race wins. So on your day, you're very good. Do you think now you're just looking for some consistency to be consistently up there, top 2, top 3, just fighting it out with the likes of Jensen and name changer and etc. etc.
Or a sprinkle of rain.
Well, it's obviously your and Jensen's home race, along with loads of other drivers in Britain. Do you feel you have a decent chance to challenge, or do you maybe not feel so confident there because of maybe the nature of the track being slightly favoured small to the wheel? Well, yeah. Well done for 4 race wins, and nice to see you return as well back to the Haas and get another win under your belt. Very nice. Good. As Jensen's obviously here as well in 2nd.
Yes.
Well,
yeah.
You, like many other drivers, were obviously at pole at one or the other stages in quali. At the start, I think you were down in 10th at one stage. Bit worried you were maybe just a bit off the pace, but you did qualify P3. Only 16,000th off the leader of Tyne in quali. Did you feel you could have given any more, or just with those small margins, was it just like one corner?
I mean, I was a bit worried because in the final set, Jack was right in front of me, but I mean, I'd say I've gave it my best in that quali. Might have got a little bit out of shape in the final corner, but I mean, other than that, really happy with the lap, considering I ain't the greatest wet weather driver across like a string of laps, so that was pretty decent.
Yeah. Well, starting the race as well, I think because it was raining, were you not maybe tempted to go onto the mediums to start the race and switch up to Rocco, Tyne, and I think it was Hamilton?
I mean, the only issue is I didn't want to be caught out by some, like if there was trains further back on the guys on the soft tyres, they got ahead of me, it would have been a bit of an issue for me. But yeah, I tried sticking with the guys at the front of what they went for, and I picked up 2 warnings on the first 2 laps at the same corner. I think it's turn 7 exit, going just too wide there. It's a bit annoying. But I ended up with a penalty plus 2 warnings after that anyway, so it wasn't too annoying to think of it again. But other than that, it was about staying with the train on the softs, and then I think, like Rocco said, I think I felt really comfortable on the mediums. 1 lap newer, I think, also I was okay at managing them as well, so yeah, just kept them there, and I saw the opportunity to, yeah, just push as hard as possible, but I couldn't get the gap. It was really consistent by Rocco in the race, and yeah, well deserved for him, but yeah, I'll take the P2 any day.
Obviously, he picked up the penalty, which I guess was quite costly in the end on the 21st lap. Did you just, after that, maybe thought about singing behind and just forcing Rocco into maybe a mistake or getting another penalty?
The fact is, if I didn't get the penalty, Rocco wouldn't have let me through so easily. See, because that would be fighting for position. He pretty much knew what to do there. He just tried to keep it clean, didn't have to over push it, just not pick up anything after that. Yeah. In a way, I'd say it worked out well for everyone there.
And maybe just last question on the race. Did you think that you could maybe, I think we were saying, me and Seahawk, about using name changer as kind of a barrier to have a gap between you and Rocco? Did you at any stage think possibly you could pull it off near the end and just about get away from Rocco out the 3 seconds?
Well, I mean, Rocco was still in the DRS of name changer, which was my issue. If he wasn't, I'd say there was possibly a chance. But yeah, he was just within the DRS, and of course name changer was still in my DRS. So he was keeping with me when his tyres were dying, so not really much of a thought for that, to be honest. So.
Well, still a good result in the end, second, and that is your, I think it's, God, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7th podium in a row, so well done on that achievement, and
yeah.
Into Britain, wish you the best of luck to get a home Grand Prix win.
Yeah, thank you, aiming to do that. Cheers for the commentaries as well.
No problem. As I don't think Pettervol's here, unless he is here, so I think it's name changer who, if he's in a party, we can interview. Name changer?
Try to mute your mic.
Yes,
Sounds like you're eating.
hello.
Okay. Well, name changer, you qualified P6. I think you actually you were obviously right at the top there for a little stage, and maybe just not quite on it in quali, but did you? It would be interesting to know if you were running a wet or dry setup in quali, because we maybe thought you would be a bit
Yeah, I was
closer.
dry stuff, of course.
Mhm.
Like, race always comes first, so yeah.
Yeah.
If somebody like run with wets it up, they have, well, I don't know what to say to be honest, but yeah, that was about qualifying.
Yeah. Well.
Just like not done it, like if you get what I mean. So yeah.
Well, you picked mediums in the end at the start of the race, which a lot of the drivers ahead of you did pick softs. So, do you, if you could have a flashback, if you like, and redo it, would you have maybe picked softs so you could just stick in that DRS train, or would you have kept it the same?
No, medium was always like the thing. Like I would have gone. Just didn't work out in the end because I was spastic with the corner cut, so that's about it.
Well, yeah, it's a shame obviously with the penalties, the 2 penalties, but in terms of the penalties, if you didn't get the penalties, obviously you would have won, but do you think you could have at all, do you know well which corner you were getting most of the penalties at? Was it maybe like Jensen the exit of turn 7, just that you kept on
No, I was just
invalidating?
Like, I was too sorry, I was too impatient on like the first few laps, so yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, this professional interview is going well, but
Fucking hell.
but yeah, obviously you're from Helsinki, and you got P4, which was very close to a podium. Did you think Pettervol would catch you in the end, or did you just know with the penalties that he would get the last podium spot?
No, I had no idea where Peter Voll even was, like, because I had like a couple of cars behind. So I just my target was to push away from Tyne. And yeah, then I just saw like Peter Voll, smacking me off from the podium, so that was a bit disappointing, but yeah, we move.
You're an alcoholic, but sadly you've only got 3 podiums this season, which isn't probably what you'd want. So do you maybe hope in Britain to taste the champagne again and maybe put up a bit more of a championship fight, because you're quite a way behind to say the least?
Well, I'm probably gonna end up smoking a cig and having a dark beer after shit race. Sorry, not that good race, so yeah, that's it. Hasn't been my season so far, but yeah, we'll see.
Well, obviously you're the, I think, reigning F1 champion, so you should have the confidence to put up a fight in Britain, and thanks for racing. Obviously today, and unlucky getting only P4.
Yeah, thanks, but commentating.
Thank you for racing. As we should have Zero, he's usually in the interviews. Ah, the fellow Finn, very nice. So you qualified, I think, where was it? P7 was it? P5, so quite good. Do you, obviously I think you picked the mediums and you did fall off the pack at the start and you were down into 10th by lap 8 with all the soft runners overtaking you. Is there anything you could have done differently in the opening laps of the race? Maybe any incident you had which made you drop down so badly down to 10th, because obviously that just hindered the rest of your race. Obviously you had some great battles with, I think, drivers like Pace throughout the race, David and Hamilton as well. You were really in amongst it when with the battles. Did you were you running a dry setup? Because it did seem you had fairly decent straight line speed when you were in the DRS trains. Okay, well, that's quite impressive there. So obviously near the end of the race, I think you were up into P6, and obviously with the penalties, I think you stayed there, didn't you? You did well on that, definitely. So you've had now a 3 point streak, which may not sound like too impressive, but obviously with the DNF and did not start in Monaco and Azerbaijan, you're starting to hit a roll now. So do you think you could just keep up the progress into Britain, because you go quite well around there sometimes? Oh well, I think I would call that a good race for you, and keep up the good work with the constructors as well, which you're leading by 76 points. Thanks for racing. As next is Tyne's not here. Amanda is probably not here. Is it Hamilton? Oh, Amanda's here. Oh, okay. Well, you returned on your debut after a long break. How did you feel that went? Just plain question. Are you quite happy with the result? Obviously, in the end, getting P7. Yeah, definitely lucky to not get a puncture there, but obviously you had plenty of battles. I think you and your teammate as well, David, and probably Hamilton as well, you were in amongst the battles throughout the whole race. How did you feel on your return you were with those battles? Because it felt like you had never left with all those battles, because you were fighting very like cleanly, especially through the outside of turn 6 and like inside of turn 7 and stuff. You had a few battles, to say the least. Mhm. Mhm. Well, I think overall P7. Do you think at this before the start of the race, before you actually even joined the lobby, were you? Would you say you would have been happy with P7 or a bit disappointed, or just where you thought you'd be? Mhm. Definitely. And obviously in the constructors, it may not seem that important, but obviously McLaren haven't really had two permanent drivers in, I don't think, since Australia, to be honest. Maybe not even in Australia. So you and David racked up 8 points, which may not sound much, but compared to other races, that's quite a good point for McLaren. Good to hear. Well, good luck into Britain. Hopefully you keep the point scoring going. Good, good. As we move on to Hamilton, isn't it? Or who's next?
Me, maybe? Don't know.
Well, it goes
Yeah, I'm
Hamilton.
here.
Oh, Hamilton, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, decent. Well, I think obviously we'll start with quali before the unfortunate spin, but I felt you really had the pace in quali and in the race. It seemed as though just maybe both of them you couldn't put them together perfectly. Obviously you qualified P7 once again. You were at stages right up there, only 5/10 separating the top. I think 7 it was. In quali, did you think possibly you could have got a bit higher and maybe set yourself in better stead for the race, or do you felt you just extracted the max from your car?
Yeah, 100%. I feel like I could have definitely gone a little bit higher. Made a few mistakes, a few errors during my lap, going into turn 3 and the penultimate corner. Just lost the back end slightly, so I had to catch it. So I lost around about 3 or 4 tenths there. But yeah, I felt like I could have got higher.
Definitely. You once again, your race pace was really solid again, just like in Canada, which obviously didn't end very well. But you were in that DRS train pretty comfortably. But then all of a sudden, obviously you were 5 seconds behind after the pit stops. Was there any particular reason for that?
Yeah, you know, my teammate pitted the lap that I wanted to pit, but then decided to give him that lap to go into the pit. So then I decided to go into the lap afterwards. I lost quite a bit of time, and then I was also battling one of the McLarens behind me. I'm not sure who that was. I think it was Amanda. Yeah, just he just kept on attacking me, and then just lost time battling with him, and then I fell quite far behind.
Obviously, you had sadly the incident with Amanda. There was so much clean racing there. I think it was pretty surprising it took that long for sadly a spin to happen. Do you felt maybe you were in the wrong? I think it was coming into turn 6, or do you felt there was maybe it was just like a racing incident because the racing before was really top notch from you and him?
I definitely feel like I was at fault. I think I was just too eager to get the position back. Yeah, I just like, you know, I saw an opportunity, I just went for it. But I felt like I should have maybe waited until the next lap to possibly get past him.
Well, I think despite the spin and maybe a little bit of a scrappy, you would say, possibly overall qualifying and race, you still managed to get P8, which is 4 points on the table, which is quite solid. And given you've only actually been here for 2 races returning, it's not too bad, especially with your pace. Do you feel maybe you can just keep this going for the rest of the season and slowly move up the standings bit by bit.
Yeah, 100%. Also feel like there's a lot of places to improve on. So yeah, during the season I'll only get better and better, and then try and consistently be in the top 10 and score some points for Red Bull.
Sounds good. Well, I think that puts you up to, I think it's P13, possibly in the drivers' standing. So you move up quite a few positions, 3, I think. So that's a solid result. And into Britain, I think it's your home Grand Prix. I think, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Definitely. Well, I'm not sure how well you go around there, but I think. Do you feel maybe you're in the past you've done well, or do you feel in the past you've not done so well and you want to make up for that possibly?
In the past I was pretty decent at Britain. I think the middle sector's always been a problem for me, so I've got to work on that before next week. But yeah, I feel I can also get a good result out of that.
Solid. Well, obviously good luck in Britain, and a bit unfortunate with the whole race weekend, but still good points on the board, so well done.
Yep. Thank you for commentating, mate.
No problem. As Pace, I think I saw him pop up in the party. Is he here?
No, he's not here.
Oh, okay. I don't think David's here, so Stegel, I think is it? The other Red Bull? Is Jack here?
Hello.
Ah, nice. Well, obviously, you being the other Red Bull only managed to get P11, but considering you, I think, switched to the pads, was it, today?
Yep.
I think it's pretty respectable. Obviously, in qualifying you were at P12. Do you think in qualifying you were, I think it was 12 thousandths off David in P11. Do you think possibly you could have extracted more from the car today, or any particular corner you felt you were lacking in?
Yeah, the left-right sector, just after sector 2, I feel like I could have went a bit quicker going through there, but it's quite difficult on the pad, but just these things happen. P12 still not bad for basically my debut in F1, but I'll take it.
Definitely. It was. I was remarking with T-Hawk, you did see, especially near the end, a little bit lonely there in P11. Most of the race you were just stranded there in P11. But do you feel possibly that you had the pace to be higher up? If you maybe were on the pads a little bit longer, you would have been up there fighting for points with the 2 McLarens and your teammate.
Yeah, maybe, but all I can aim for is top 10. I'm not expecting podiums or wins. Just, even if I'm just below there, I know, like, if I didn't get that much penalties, maybe I would have got there. But, you know, I'm a bit eager from the start. And yeah, just too many penalties.
Well, I don't think it's a return to F1 you can't moan about too much. In Spain, obviously, I think you got you DNF'd even, so you managed to finish the race and still get that experience in for F1 and get an understanding of all the different drivers. Obviously, I mean, if you want to class it as a home Grand Prix as a Scotsman, Britain, but do you feel excited to go to Britain and maybe put up a bit of a fight and get out your elbows for your home Grand Prix? Well, home-ish Grand Prix.
Yeah, I'm hoping to at least score points to get Red Bull up in the constructors and to get me up in the drivers, but yeah, I probably will be driving a bit better, hopefully.
It's definitely quite close in like the bottom half of the driver standings, so you can obviously make up a lot of points. And Red Bull, they're 4th at the moment in the standings, obviously, with Sparkling doing a lot of that work. Do you maybe hope to keep Red Bull there? You're only 5 points off Mercedes, who are in 3rd. Do you think possibly if you maybe grow into the season, get better race by race, you can just about stay there and maybe even outscore the likes of Mercedes and Racing Point?
Yeah. As long as me and my teammates stay close to the Mercedes or ahead of the Mercedes, we should be fine. I'm not naming anyone specifically, but as long as we stay ahead of them, we should be alright.
Decent. Well done to obviously finish the race, and unfortunate just to be 1 point off, 1 place off, I should say, off the points, but good race overall.
Thank you, and thank you for commentating.
No problem. As don't think JB's here, don't think Edzak is here, so it's Mr. Bullboy, isn't it?
Yes.
The man who finished the race the history records, which is pretty good. Well, obviously he qualifies P14, and you finish P14, so some would say a bit boring, but do you want to take us through quali for a start?
Yeah, so qualifying, I didn't really expect to do well, so I think, yeah, getting outside the top 10, as usual, like near the back anyway, for the start. It was a good lap, but just everybody else is way faster.
Well, obviously there was a virtual safety car fairly early on. You were actually ahead, or sorry, just behind Hiddy and Tice before obviously it all kicked off. Do you understand what exactly happened in the incident? Because it did seem just as though they were obviously before the virtual safety car, which they caused them. To put it bluntly, it was like an unranked lobby. Yeah.
Have you checked your Discord?
Yeah, I was like just behind them, and they had a collision, and yeah, I overtook them, and after that I saw them both go off, so yeah, I mean, I was way too far ahead at the time, because I think Tice was trying to let Hiddy through and then something happened, so yeah, I caught a tiny bit of it on my POV, but it is difficult to kind of see what happened.
Yeah. Well, I think you were involved in a couple of battles halfway through the race, like lap 18, I should say. You were fighting just outside the points, and obviously near the end it got a bit lonely. Were you maybe tempted right near the end? I don't think you went for fastest lap, or did you?
No, I tried to, but I think I was about 3-4 tenths off, even with DRS, because of course, me being lapped, I decided to like let someone, I think it was Pace and Hamilton through so I could get DRS, and that never, well, it kind of worked. I think I was purple sector 1, but yeah, had no chance.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a bit of a unfortunate first stint as well, because I may or may not have had a bit of a crash. Like with the barrier of all things around Austria, so yeah, that was a bit unfortunate. Had like yellow front wing.
Yeah, not to rub salt into the wounds, but sadly it is your worst result of the season. But in saying that, after the race, I think it was China, you got P14. You managed to bounce back 2 races later and get 9th in Spain. So, and also to be fair to you, the last 3 races you've picked up, I think it is 11 points, which is quite solid in driver's standings. So, do you possibly want to bounce back after having a good point scoring and just now maybe a little bit disappointing for Mr. Toto?
Well, unfortunately, with the new drivers, you know, or returning drivers coming in, my chances of scoring points have gone down dramatically. So, although it's a good thing, like I'm really happy that we got like a mend of pace and that returning. It's yeah, it's not good for my chances of points. So, I seriously think that unless we have a crazy race like France where half the field retires, I might not score points again, which is really is not a great thing to say. But we have to have like a safety car or something. Yeah, has to kick off. Otherwise, yeah, I'm not gonna score any more points.
Yeah, obviously you're hoping no life-threatening crashes, but I understand the eagerness for people to smash into the barrier. That makes a lot of sense, but yeah. Hopefully you bounce back in your home Grand Prix. What do you rate your chances from 1 to 10 in Britain of scoring points?
Without safety cars and people crashing, probably a 1. But if luck goes my way, and if people crash and get penalties and that, and yeah, then it's more like a 7 or a 8 potentially.
So you're
So
not
yeah,
backing
we'll see what
yourself
happens.
for a podium, maybe? Not a sneaky podium.
No, I'll go for the win actually. Yeah, I'll go 2 steps better.
Well, it's been I was seeing you on a top step, but obviously it'd be great to see you back on the top step in Britain. And hopefully you bounce back from a slightly disappointing performance. But thanks for racing today.
Yep, and thanks for the stream and commentary as always.
No problem. As Mr. Mads should be here.
Yes.
So the retired commentator for F2, here he is. So, I mean, it was a 15th and 16th for Williams, which is
realistic.
Yeah, quite realistic. But I think both of you spun, wasn't it? At one stage. Do you want to talk us? Start with that, the most action-packed thing, or was my
Yeah, I
bit
mean,
blind?
it didn't start too well in qualifying. I got blocked by Steven's AI coming into the pit, so. So yeah, I had only one attempt in the final few minutes because I couldn't make the countdown. So didn't get the perfect lap in and was like in the middle of the pack, but I could definitely improve and maybe get a better lap time. Of course, my aim was to beat what is his name? Rocco, I think. Obviously making a comeback like Amanda. So then the first lap happened, and I just spun. And I think Steven, he spun. Because he was looking at me.
Yes.
So it was a terrible race with 2 comeback drivers, but one of them such a shit driver. I cannot believe he was allowed to join back.
Okay. Well, interesting words from Mads. I'm sure Frank Williams will have a close ear on that, but
it was a bad race. Me and Steven just had no pace. I was just made it back in time for the race, so didn't really expect much. And with people being in DRS train, was difficult after my sprint. But was hoping to beat Rocco for obvious reasons, but not today. Maybe next week.
I don't know the exact figure, but you were around. I think it was 40 seconds off points. Do you feel maybe next time in Britain you could be a bit closer to that, or do you think it's maybe just a stretch too far?
Definitely. I'm gonna win in Britain.
Decent. Well, thanks for racing today. I'm sure you did Williams proud, and yes, hope to see you up there in Britain.
Thank you.
Decent. As Stephen, I think, should be here. Oh.
Yeah,
Oh, he is here. Decent. Well, Mr. Stephen, you qualified, I think it was P18, which was a little bit disappointing to say the least, given you being a top-notch F2 driver. Do you feel possibly you could have got more out of them? The Williams chassis, or do you feel it was just a bit past your limits?
Yesterday was a freak result, as I said, and it was back to the Lord Mayor's show today. Before the start of the race, before even qualifying, I thought if I beat Mr. Ballboy 57, I will have a decent race. But on lap 3 of the race, or lap 4 something, I seen my teammate go off in the chicane section, and me, of course, put too much power on and spun myself. So yeah, it wasn't great, and I was catching Ball Boy as well. I was only a second off him, but yeah, oh well. and then just went from bad to worse after that. It was Williams realistic today in real life.
Are you okay, Hamilton?
Oh yeah. Well, it was a bit not really understandable why you didn't get driver of the day, moving up 2 positions from P18. But do you think possibly you could have maybe not get lapped if you were maybe not in the train of cars? If you could have probably got away and not get lapped by Rocco.
No, it's such a short track. I was going to get lapped eventually anyway. Even the back people who did a normal race, who didn't spin out or anything, got lapped. So I didn't expect much today anyway. I just thought if I could just beat Ball Boy, who in the 3 laps took me out. But anyway, let's forget about that. Yeah.
Well, I think there's always a silver lining. You beat Pelly, Brookie, Ties and Hiddy, which
well, that wasn't much. Yeah, that wasn't much after they took themselves out of the race.
Yeah,
but yeah, we race next week at Britain.
Well, yeah, we don't race technically in your home Grand Prix. I don't know which nationality you are. I think you're Northern Irish, but how do you feel coming into your not-so-home Grand Prix of Britain? Do you feel confident to maybe get a podium in F2 and get P18 again in F1?
Just to correct your geography, Northern Ireland is part of the UK. But
okay,
yeah.
Sorry.
But not Great Britain.
It is in Great Britain, T-Hawk. But anyway.
But what are
hopefully I'll get some decent points in F2. In F, and Arno can have his seat back next week. Maybe I might go reserve seat again, who knows, but yeah, it was good racing in the Williams with Mads. We had good communication, especially in qualifying. But yeah, hopefully I get a good few points next week in F2.
I think yeah, a lot of Williams fans would be wondering who exactly gave you the call up to Williams.
Yeah, Frank Williams decided, but then he retired, so I don't know who got it.
Well, obviously good luck in Britain, and shame you couldn't replicate your 4th here today with a bit of luck. But
yeah, I was hoping for a safety car, but it just didn't materialise.
Well, unlucky today, and best of luck in F2 and possibly F1 tomorrow. Well, next week. Next week. Yes.
Alright, thanks for commentating. Thanks to Seahawk for commentating as well.
No problem. As we have our hyenas apparently in the party. No, joking. Is Pelly, Brookie or Ties or Hiddy here? Even though half of them left.
No.
Decent, so we can end the stream. Jeez, those interviews took a while. Anyway, well, thanks for watching. Rocco win, and obviously other drivers make their return. See Jensen on the podium, and I think it was Pettervall as well. Thanks all for rating and watching, and we'll see you next week for Britain in Silverstone.